Everyone, welcome back to another Codex review. As always, my name is Jay, and in this video I'm going to give my first impressions and some information on the new Sisters of Battle Adepta Sororitas Codex, which is now up for sale. It's been out for technically a little while. It was released partly with that battle box, that limited edition battle box with the army box, and it looks really cool. The new models look really nice. I'm really happy to see the Sisters getting some love. No more metal models. The plastic kits look amazing. Some of the new models look a little interesting, but I'm really a big fan of the new Exorcist rules. The new Faith rules are cool. Overall, I think it's a much better codex than they had before. Several new models. So it's awesome stuff. You know what? It's really good. I think the Sisters Battle players are going to be happy in the sense that they got a lot of new rules and a lot of new stuff to do and a lot of new kits. The new models, as I said, look awesome. So really, the Sisters are getting some love that is really, really overdue and well deserved. So yeah. So of course, the thing is about the Sisters of Battle, of course, is they're all about faith. You gotta have faith. The faith. And so faith has changed once again in this codex. Faith is now just a dice that you can use to replace a dice. That's it. You have a certain number of dice that you can use for faith, and you can replace after rolling, or I think it's after rolling, or I'll double check in a second. But you can just substitute a faith dice and choose the number. So it's pretty awesome. So let's go over acts of faith quickly. So acts of faith. If your army contains at least one unit with this ability, you can perform one act of faith in each phase. Remember, each phase. So psychic. No, maybe deny the witch. Yes, they can. So, movement. They can do, to advance or charge rolls. They can do deny the witch, hit rolls, to wound rolls, saving throws, damage rolls, morale tests, and you can do it in either turn. So one per phase, which is a pretty cool thing. So you can basically ensure that your guy survives or your girl survives. You can do to do so. You will need to use miracle dice. Gaining miracle dice. You gain one miracle dice at the beginning of each battle round. So one per turn, game turn. And you gain one at the end of a phase if one or more of the following conditions are met one or more times during that phase. Vengeance. A unit from your army with the Acts of Faith ability destroys an enemy unit. Sacrifice. A character unit from your army with the Acts of Faith ability is destroyed. Purity. Psychic power is resisted by a unit with your army with the Acts of Faith ability, without performing an act of faith to do so, as described below. And Valor. You roll an unmodified 1 for a morale test taken for a unit with the Acts of Faith ability without performing an act of faith to do so, as described below. When you gain a miracle dice, roll 1d6. The number you roll is the value of that miracle dice. This value cannot be changed unless a rule states otherwise. Keep your miracle dice to one side. This is your miracle dice pool. So, as I said, at the end of a turn, you roll a dice and it becomes that number. So if you rolled a 1, for example, it stays as a 1, and you can substitute that 1 in when doing something later in the game. So it's kind of cool. So performing an act of faith. Before making a dice roll for a model or unit from your army with the Acts of Faith ability, you can choose to use one or more of the dice from your miracle dice pool instead. For each individual dice that is being rolled as part of the dice roll, you can select one miracle dice from your miracle dice pool to be substituted in place of that dice. The dice that is being substituted for is not rolled, and instead the value of the chosen miracle dice is used as if it had been rolled. So as I said, if you rolled a 4 before, it stays as a 4, and you can substitute that 4 in. Once all miracle dice substitutions have been made, remove the chosen miracle dice from your miracle dice pool, and roll any remaining unsubstituted dice that are part of the dice roll. You can use miracle dice to perform an act of faith for any of the following types of dice rolls: advance, charge rolls, deny the witch test, hit roll, wound roll, saving throw, damage roll, morale test. The ones that, the big ones are, of course, you can't use it to seize anything. You can't, there was one I was thinking about earlier. Don't remember. Probably come up later. But, yeah, those are the types. As I said, there's probably some rules that are going to annoy people that you can't use, but that's okay. Oh, like you can't use it for substituting random number of shots. You know, you can't use it to substitute random number of points from a maelstrom points. You can't use that. And also you can use it as a reroll. And so if you had to reroll ones to hit, for example, you can use that. You can substitute it as the reroll dice instead of the original. That's cool. And so that's the other thing. And now also there's sacred rites. In every unit if every unit in your army has the Adepta Sororitas and or Adeptus Ministorum faction keywords, this unit gains an ability depending on which sacred rite is active in your army. Determine which sacred rite is active for all units from your army with the ability at the start of the battle. To do so, after deployment but before the first battle round begins, select one sacred rite from the following table. Alternatively, you can roll 2d6 to randomly generate 2 sacred rites to be active. A duplicate result has no additional effect, but is considered to be active for the purposes of the battle rite stratagem. In either case, sacred rites are active until the end of the battle. So number 1, Hand of the Emperor. When a unit with the sacred rite advances, add 1 to the advance roll, and when making a charge roll, add 1 to the result. Spirit of the Martyr. When a model of the sacred rite is destroyed, we'll roll 1d6 before removing the model from play. On a 5-up, that model can either shoot with one of its ranged weapons, as if it were the shooting phase, or make one attack with one of its melee weapons if it were the fight phase. That's pretty awesome. And it has damage table, use the bottom row. Aegis of the Emperor. So that's pretty awesome, that one. Aegis of the Emperor. When a Deny the Witch test is taken for a unit with a sacred rite, add 3 to the total. That's huge for denying psychic powers. Divine Guidance. When resolving an attack made with ranged weapons by a model with a sacred rite, on an unmodified roll of 6, the AP characteristic is improved by 1. The Passion. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model with a sacred rite, an unmodified hit roll scores 1 additional hit. Light of the Emperor. When a morale test is taken for a unit with a sacred rite, you can reroll the dice. There's also Shield of Faith. Models have a 6-up invulnerable save. And also, in addition, one model in this unit can attempt to resist 1 psychic power in your opponent's psychic phase, just like Deny the Witch. When taking the Deny the Witch test, roll 1d6 instead of 2d6. The psychic power is resisted if the roll is greater than the result. So not as strong. And Zealot, of course. If they have Zealot, when resolving an attack with a melee weapon by a model in this unit, you can reroll the hit roll if that model unit made a charge move, was charged, or performed a heroic intervention this turn. And that's it. The cool special rules and all of this. There's faction special rules inside this, so you get to choose each faction. But yeah, as I said, it's really cool. And then we should go over the... obviously, they have Strength of Faith. If your army is Battleforged, they gain the objective secured. They gain order convictions as well, depending on which group within Adepta Sororitas you want to choose. Let's go over those for a sec. So the order convictions, there's Our Martyred Lady, which is gain 1 miracle dice at the end of any phase in which any units from this conviction were destroyed. This is in addition to any miracle dice gained at the end of the phase in which a character unit with the X Faith ability was destroyed. In addition, when resolving an attack made by a model with this conviction, add 1 to the hit roll if 1 or more models from that unit's unit have been destroyed in this battle, even if they have been subsequently returned to the battlefield. That's huge. That's a pretty cool one. Valorious Heart. When a model with this conviction would lose a wound, roll 1d6. On a 6, that wound is not lost. Cool. In addition, when resolving an attack made with a weapon with an armor penetration characteristic of -1 against a unit with this conviction, that weapon has an armor penetration characteristic of 0. While a unit with this conviction is under the effect of the Magifier's Tail of the Stoic ability, any with an AP -2 also counts as AP 0, which is, again, pretty cool. Autocannons become a lot less useful against Valorious Heart. Bloody Rose. Bloody Rose is when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon or a pistol weapon by a model's conviction, that armor penetration characteristic is improved by 1 for the attack. That's pretty cool. In addition, add 1 to the attack's characteristic of a model with this conviction during any turn in which it made a charge move, was charged, or performed a heroic intervention. Ebon Chalice. When a model with this conviction would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound, roll a d6. On a 5-up, that wound is not lost. In addition, when you perform an act of faith for a model with the unit with this conviction, you can first discard 1 miracle dice. If you do so, 1 miracle dice you use in the act of faith is considered to be a 6. Cool. So you can sacrifice 1, the other one becomes a 6. Agent Shroud. When a unit with this conviction advances, it can fire ranged weapons as if it had moved without advancing. That's pretty awesome. So that's a dangerous one. So as you can see, there's a lot of dangerous powers in these convictions. And Sacred Rose. When a morale test is taken for a unit with this conviction, no more than one model can flee. In addition, you can perform an act of faith for a model or unit with this conviction. Roll 1d6. On a 5-up, you gain 1 miracle dice. In addition, when resolving an Overwatch attack made by a model with this conviction, a hit roll 5 or 6 scores a hit. Once again, that's pretty awesome. So as you can see, the Sisters are pretty strong. These new specials that we've gone over alone are pretty strong. Yeah, like that's pretty awesome so far. And those are just my first impressions. As you can see, they don't have psychic powers because they don't cast psychic powers, right? They don't have, they don't do that. But still, as I said, that's pretty intense so far. So let's go over some things. Obviously, there are a bunch of models now in this army, so we might as well go over them. Yeah, as you can see, most of them are, some of them are new. A lot of them are some of the old existing ones, but that's okay. So there's only 2 HQ choices that aren't named, which are Canoness for 45 base points and Missionary for 38. They also have the named characters, and the named characters are, of course, Junith Aruda. I think that's one of the new characters. Saint Celestine makes sense. As always, for 160. Junith Aruda is 110, including War Gear. Saint Celestine is 160. Triumph of St. Catherine is 185. So we'll start with the Canoness. Movement 6 inches, weapon skill 2 up, ballistic skill 2 up, strength 3, toughness 3, 5 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 9, 3 up save. A Canoness is a single model equipped with a bolt pistol, chain sword, frag grenades, crack grenades. She has Axe of Faith, Sacred Rites, Shield of Faith. She has a 4 up invulnerable save. But she's also the Brazier of Holy Fire. While any models from your army that have Braziers of Holy Fire are within 6 inches of any demon units, subtract 1 from the leadership characters of each of those enemy units. In addition, if this model has a Brazier of Holy Fire, then once per battle, when this model fires Overwatch or is chosen to shoot with, it can unleash the Brazier's Holy Flames. When it does, select 1 enemy unit within 12 inches of this model. If firing Overwatch, you must select the unit that is declared a charge against this model. And roll 1d6. On a 2-up, the enemy suffers D3 mortal wounds. And then enemy unit is a demon, it suffers D6 mortal wounds instead. It has Lead the Righteous. Reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made by models in friendly order units while they're in 6 inches of this model. Rod of Office. If this model has a Rod of Office, add 3 inches to the range of its Lead the Righteous ability. So that's pretty cool. So 9-inch reroll 1s. And Null Rod. If this model has a Null Rod, so I guess you can choose between the Rod of Office and the Null Rod, then it cannot be targeted or affected by psychic powers. In addition, while any models from your army that have Null Rods are within 18 inches of any Psyker models, subtract 1 from the Psychic test and deny the Witch test taken for those enemy models. Up next, we have the superstar of the army, as always, Saint Celestine. As I said, points-wise, Saint Celestine has a jump pack, so she's 12-inch movement, 2 up weapon skill, 2 up ballistic skill, strength 3, toughness 3, 6 attacks, 6 wounds, leadership 9, 2 up save. She has the Ardent Blade, which has a shooting attack, 8-inch range, assault D6, and it's a flamer, so it doesn't hit. You roll the number of hits. Strength 5, AP minus 1, D1, and a melee, strength plus 4, AP minus 3, D2. She has Healing Tears, so at the start of the movement phase, you can select 1 friendly Gemini Superior unit within 3 inches of this model. If that unit contains a model that has lost any wounds, that model regains its lost wounds. Otherwise, if a model from this unit has been destroyed, you can return it to the battlefield with 2 wounds remaining, placing it within 3 inches of this model and in coherency. The Armor of St. Catherine, it has a 4-up invulnerable save. Saintly Blessings, the invulnerable save friendly Adepta Sororitas infantry models receive from the Shield of Faith ability is improved by 1, while their unit is within 6 inches of this model. It is improved by 2 instead if it is Gemini Superior unit, to a maximum of 4-up. So now you have 4-up and 5-up Adepta Sororitas models running around the battlefield. This is hilariously survivable. In addition, models in the friendly Adeptus Ministorum and Adeptus and Astra Militarum units have a 6-up invulnerable save while their unit was within 6 inches of this model. That's awesome too. Miraculous Intervention. The first time this model is destroyed, roll 1d6 at the end of the phase. On a 2-up, return this model to play with all its wounds remaining, placing it as close as possible to its previous position and more than 1 inch away from enemy models. Wow. So on a 2-up, she survives, and then she comes back with 6 wounds, and you repeat this process. And the first time this model is destroyed, roll 1d6 at the end of the phase. So if you shoot her dead, she comes back at the end of the shooting phase. Wow. So you can't reshoot her. That's nasty. Triumph of St. Catherine. 6-inch movement. Weapon skill 3-up. Ballistic skill 3-up. Strength 3. Toughness 3. 18 wounds. 18 wounds. What? 18 wounds. And she has... And how many points? 185 points. What? Okay. And while she has 18 wounds, she has 14 attacks and 5 relics. Okay. She's equipped with 6 bolt pistols, the Martyr's Sword, relic weapons, frag grenades, crack grenades. You can only include one of them in your army, of course. Martyr's Sword is a melee weapon, strength +3, AP -3, 2 damage. And no more than 4 attacks can be made with this weapon. Relic weapons are range melee, type melee, strength +2, AP -1, D1. So it dictates how many attacks she has. She has Presidium Protectiva. This model has a 4-up invulnerable save. So 18 wounds. And when resolving an attack made against this model, subtract 1 to hit. 18 wounds, 185 points. Fiery Heart. Morale tests taken for friendly Adepta Sororitas units within 6 inches of this model are automatically passed. Solemn Possession. This model cannot embark aboard a transport. Relics of the Matriarchs. This model has a number of relics as detailed in the damage table below. Each relic grants this model an ability as follows. This model can only have 1 of each relic. When this model suffers damage that reduces the number of relics, select which of the relics this model no longer has. If this model regains lost wounds and increases numbers, select which of the relics it gains back. So there's Censor of the Sacred Rose. At the start of each turn, gain 1 miracle dice. Siracrum of the Ebon Chalice. At the start of your shooting phase, roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within 6 inches of this model, adding 1 to the result if the unit being rolled is a Psyker, and 1 to the result if the unit being rolled is a Chaos unit. On a 5-up, the unit being rolled for suffers D3 mortal wounds. Petals of the Bloody Rose. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by models and friendly Adepta Sororitas units while they're within 6 inches of this model. Cool. Icon of the Valorous Heart. Once per phase, you can perform 1 act of faith for friendly unit within 6 inches that has the act of faith ability, even if it has already performed 1 act of faith in the phase. That's beyond overpowered. Wow. And Siracrum of the Agent Shroud. When you perform an act of faith for a friendly unit that was within 6 inches of this model, you can increase or decrease the value of 1 miracle dice by 1 before you use it, to a maximum of 6 and to a minimum of 1. This is not cumulative with any other abilities that can increase or decrease the value of miracle dice. So, yeah, Triumph of St. Catherine's kind of an auto-include. 18 wounds. Now, the only thing is with her, she has 18 wounds, so you can't hide her. I don't think I've seen the model yet. Is the model in the Codex? I'm kind of curious, what kind of model is she? Is she like a monstrous creature? Type. Infantry. No, she's just an infantry. That's really wacky. Wow. That's a game changer. Except for the fact, of course, you can't protect her, which is nice. So you'll have to hide her. Hospitaller. Nope, don't see her. Cool. Well, that'll be an auto-include model in most armies. 18 wounds. Wow. and -1 to hit her. That's pretty awesome. Up next, we have the Junith Aurelia. I don't want to pronounce Aurelia. It's the thing that the girl on the flying chariot with meltas, or heavy flamer, sorry. So the Junith Aurelia. Let's go over the elites section quickly. So, the elites, that's actually the most heavy, like the group of the large group. The Junith Aurelia is... not there. Maybe it's a named character. Oh, sorry. Junith Aurelia is 110 points, as we discussed. It's a named character. It's a single model, equipped with 2 heavy flamers on the Mace of Castigation. You can only include 1 per army. 10-inch movement, 2 up weapon skill, 2 up ballistic skill, strength 3, toughness 4, 7 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 9, 3 up save. She has 2 heavy flamers, which are heavy d6, 8-inch range. In the Mace of Castigation, which is a melee weapon, strength +2, AP -1, d2. Act of Faith, Sacred Rites, Shield of Faith, Rosarius, so 4 up and vulnerable save. Fiery Conviction, reroll hit rolls of 1, and wound rolls of 1 for attacks made by models in friendly order units. Order of Our Lady Martyred Lady units, while their unit was in 6 inches of this model. The Pulpit of St. Holine's Basilica. The invulnerable save of friendly Adepta Sororitas infantry models received from the Shield of Faith ability is improved by 1 to maximum 4 up. So you can combine her with the other one and get a 4 up invulnerable save running around infantry. That's hilarious. Wow. And explodes. Missionary. Missionary is... let's go through points here. Missionary is 38 points, as I said. So these are not elites. These are HQs. Sorry, these are HQ sections. I said elites for some reason. These are still HQs. Single model equipped with a autogun, last spittle, chain sword for against crack grenades. Movement 6 inches. Weapon skill 4 up. Ballistic skill 4 up. Strength 3, toughness 3, 4 wounds, 3 attacks. Leadership 7, 6 up save. This has Zealot. 4 up invulnerable save. War Hymns, which is add 1 to the attacks characteristic of models in Adepta Storm Infantry. And Adepta and Astra Militarum Infantry units. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Because you can combine these with Astra Militarum and get some craziness. Well, their unit is within 6 inches of friendly models with this ability. Lone mission, if your army's battleforged, no more than 1 missionary can be included in any detachment. And Word of the Emperor, roll 1d6 when Adepta Storm model flees, all within 6 inches of this model. 4 up, that model does not flee. So now we have the troops choices. The troops choices are pretty easy. Battle Sisters Squad. They are incredibly survivable. Now, so the Battle Sisters Squad is 9 points per model base. I think it could actually come in 10 points and it would have been still a fair deal. They're 6-inch movement, weapon skill 4 up, ballistic skill 3 up. So they don't hit as, they're not as good in close combat. Strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound, 1 attack, leadership 7, 3 up save. The base unit has 1 Sister Superior, 4 Battle Sisters. And as it can perform an act of faith, it has Incensor Cherub. You can take that if this unit has Incensor Cherub when once per battle at the beginning of any phase. Then Incensor Cherub can intercede. If it intercedes, the Incensor Cherub is removed from play and you gain 1 miracle dice. Roll 2d6 when you do so and select which one to keep. The miracle dice you give can only be used to perform an act of faith for this unit and only in that phase. Cool. So that's cool stuff. And that's the troops choice. As I said, it's not a lot of choices, but that's okay. They only have 1 choice, but the HQs are really, really, really powerful. And then they have a lot of choices for elites. Yes, so elites. They have the Preacher, which is 30 points base, and the Gemini Superia, which is 16 points base. The Preacher is 6-inch movement, weapon skill 4 up, ballistic skill 4 up, strength 3, toughness 3, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 7, 6 up save. Has a last pistol and chainsword, but has Zealot, icon of the Ecclesiarchy. While any Preacher units from your army are within 6 inches of any Chaos units, subtract 1 from the leadership characteristic of those enemy units. Rosarius, so 4 up invulnerable save. And War Hymns, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of models in Adepta Storm Infantry and Astra Militarum Infantry, while within 6 inches of this model. And Gemini Superior. This unit contains 1 Gemini Superior, and this is the jump pack dudes that are the girls that fly with St. Celestine. They have 12-inch movement, weapon skill 3 up, ballistic skill 3 up, strength 3, toughness 3, 2 attacks. Sorry, 2 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 9, 3 up save. And they're equipped with bolt pistol, power sword, fire grenades, crack grenades. You can only have one of these units per army, in your army. Repentia Superior, which is 35 points base. Sisters Repentia, which are 13 points base. Repentia Superior is movement 6 inches, weapon skill 3 up, ballistic skill 3 up, strength 3, toughness 3, 4 attacks, 4 wounds, leadership 8, 3 up save. They have neural whips, frag grenades, crack grenades. Neural whips are melee attacks, melee weapons with strength user AP -2 D1, and when resolving attack with his weapon against a unit other than a vehicle unit in which no model has leadership characteristic higher than 7, add 1 to wound roll. They have Axe of Faith, Sacred Rites, Shield of Faith, Scourge of the Penitent. If your army is Battleforged, this model does not take up a slot in the detachment that includes an Order Sisters Repentia units. Driven onwards, you can re-roll advanced rolls and charge rolls made for friendly Order Sisters Repentia units while they're within 6 inches of this model. You can re-roll wound rolls of 1 for attacks made with melee weapons by models in friendly Sister Order Repentia units while their unit is within 6 inches of this model. And Sisters Repentia. So, as I said, they're 13 points each for Sisters Repentia. And each model is movement 6 inches. Weapon skill 3 up, ballistic skill 3 up, strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound, 2 attacks, leadership 8, and 7 up save. And they're equipped with Penitent Eviscerator, which is close combat weapons. So it's strength times 2, AP -3, D2. When resolving attack with this weapon, subtract 1 from the hit roll. So they're all fists, basically. And they have a special rule called Martyrdom on top of Axe of Faith, Sacred Rites, Shield of Faith, and Zealot. When this unit is destroyed, gain 1 miracle dice, other than the morale phase. And Solace of Anguish. When a model with this unit would lose a wound, roll a d6 on a 5 if that wound is not lost. Cool. Up next, we have the Celestian Squad. Now, the Celestian Squad is 10 points base per model. You have 5 Celestians. Their base 6-inch movement, weapon skill 3 up, ballistic skill 3 up, strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound, 2 attacks, leadership 8, 3 up save. And they have Axe of Faith, Sacred Rites, Shield of Faith. Bodyguard, when a friendly Order character model within 3 inches of this unit would lose any wounds as a result of an attack made against that model. This unit can attempt to intercept that attack. Roll a d6 on a 2-up. That model does not lose any wounds, and this unit suffers 1 mortal wound for each of those wounds. Only 1 attempt can be made to intercept each attack. Swarm Protectors, you can re-roll hit rolls for attacks made by models in this unit while they're within 6 inches of any friendly Order Canoness. Simulacrum Imperialis. If a model in this unit has a Simulacrum Imperialis, then once per phase you can perform 1 act of faith for this unit, even if it already performed 1 or more acts of faith in that phase. Incense or Cherub, once again, the interceding. So, up next we have the Zephyrum Squad. As I said, there's a lot of elites in this army. It's a very elite-heavy army. A lot of elites. So the next one are the Zephyrum Squad. Zephyrum Squads are 13 points base per model. You get 1 Zephyrum Superior and 4 Zephyrum. Movement 12 inches. These are jump back guys. 3 up weapon skill, 3 up ballistic skill, strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound, 2 attacks, leadership 8, 3 up save. They have Axe of Faith, Sacred Rites, Shield of Faith, and they have Rupturous Blows when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model in this unit. You can reroll the wound roll. Now they just have power swords. Yeah, power swords, which are strength user AP -3 D1, right? They have Zephyrum Pennant. You can reroll charge rolls made for Order units while they're within 6 inches of any friendly units when the Zephyrum Pennant when the roll is made. Sky Strike, during deployment, you can set them up in the sky and they come down and make a deep strike anywhere 9 inches or more away from your opponents. Angelic Visage. The invulnerable save models in this unit receive from the Shield of Faith ability is improved by 1 to a maximum of 4 up. Wow. These guys are survivable. These women are survivable. Really survivable. It's going to be easy to wound them. So essentially, the key is, like, the big thing that's going to take down sisters is like a horde of orc boys shooting at them. Just rolling up dice and they'll die. But there'll be a huge annoyance for heavy weapons because you get a wound on them, 4 up, they're going to survive. So that's going to be pretty funny. Keys, you just want to dackle them to death. Dialogus. Dialogus is 35 points. It's equipped with a bolt pistol and a Dialogus staff. Wow. Movement 6 inches, weapon skill 4 up, ballistic skill 3 up, strength 3, toughness 3, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 8, 3 up save. Axe of Faith, Sacred Rites, and Shield of Faith. The Dialga Staff is strength +1, AP nothing, D1, but has Laud Hailer. Add 1 to leadership characteristics of Adepta Sororitas units while they're within 6 inches of this model. Spiritual Fortitude, when this model would lose a wound as a result of mortal wound in the psychic phase, roll 1d6. On a 5 up, that wound is not lost. Stirring Rhetoric, when you perform an act of faith for a model or unit within 6 inches of any friendly models with this ability, you can increase or decrease the value of 1 miracle dice used by 1 before it is used to a maximum of 6 and a minimum of 1. It's not cumulative with any other abilities. Hospitaller. So Hospitaller is 35 points as well. 6-inch movement, weapon skill 4 up, ballistic skill 3 up. The Hospitaller is the one with I think the dead sister on her base. Or dying sister. And she's 6-inch movement, weapon skill 4 up, ballistic skill 3 up, strength 3, toughness 3, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 8, 3 up save. Axe of Faith, Sacred Rites, Shield of Faith, Medicus Immunostorum. At the end of your movement phase, this model can provide. This is a healer, right? This is the healer of the army. This is the this is the healer. So provide any medical attention to 1 friendly Adeptus Immunostorum infantry unit within 3 inches of it. If that unit contains a model that has lost any wounds, that model regains up to D3 lost wounds. Otherwise, if any models in that unit have been destroyed, you can return 1 destroyed model from the unit to the battlefield with one wound remaining, placing it within 3 inches of this model and in coherency. Cool. Each unit can only be provided medical attention once per turn. Cool. A Magifier. As I said, there's just a whole lot of elites. The Magifier is 45 points. Movement 6 inches, weapon skill 3 up, ballistic skill 3 up, strength 3, toughness 3, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 8, 3 up save. Has a bolt gun, frag grenades, crack grenades, but Axe of Faith, Sacred Rites, Shield of Faith. Litany of Deeds. During deployment, after you set up this model on the battlefield, select one of the following tales. This model has that ability until the end of the battle. Tale of the Faithful. You can re-roll, deny the witch tests taken from models in order units while they're within 6 inches of this model. Tale of the Stoic. Weapons with an armor penetration characteristic of -1 are treated as having an armor penetration characteristic of 0 when resolving attacks against order units while they're within 6 inches of this model. And Tale of the Warrior. Add 1 to strength characteristics of models in order units while they're within 6 inches of this model. Cool. Crusaders. Crusaders, not a lot changed. They're 9 points per model. And there's Death Cult Assassins, which are 13, and Arco-Flagellants, which are 13 as well. Not much change with them. I'm just going to... Actually, let's keep going. Let's keep going through all of them. Why not? Yeah, let's do it. So Crusader, 6-inch movement. Weapon skill 3 up, ballistic skill 4 up, strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound, 2 attacks, leadership 7, 4 up save. You get 2 Crusaders. You can additionally contain up to 2 more Crusaders. They have a power sword and a storm shield. So they have a 3 up invulnerable save. And they have Zealot. If your army is Battleforged, this unit does not take up a slot in the detachment. That includes any Ministorm Priests. Storm Shield, so 3 up invulnerable save. Spiritual Fortitude, when a model in this unit would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound in the psychic phase, roll d6. On a 5 up, wound is not lost. Death Cult Assassins, movement 7 inches, weapon skill 3 up, ballistic skill 4 up, strength 4, toughness 3, 1 wound, 4 attacks, leadership 7, 5 up save. This unit contains 2 Death Cult Assassins. It can be, it can name up to 2 more if you want. They have Power Blades, which are a strength user, AP -3, 1 D. They have Zealots, Uncanny Reflexes, which have a 5 up invulnerable save, and Ecclesiarchy Battle Conclave, which if your army is Battleforged, then this unit does not take up a detachment that includes a Ministorm Priests. Arco-Flagellants. Movement 7 inches, weapon skill 4 up, no ballistic skill because they don't have any shooting. Strength 4, toughness 3, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 7, save 7+. They are Arco-Flails, with strength +1, AP -1, D1. Make 3 D3 hit rolls for each attack with this weapon instead of 1. So they can have 2 D3 attacks each, which is nasty. They have Zealots, Berserk, Killing Machines. When a model in this unit would lose a wound, roll a D6. On a 5 up, that wound is not lost. A Ecclesiarchy Battle Conclave, same thing. They don't take up a roll, pardon the detachment, if they have a Ministorum Priest. Up next, we have the Dominion Squad. Dominion Squad is fast attack. So Dominion Squad is 10 points, and Seraphim Squad is 11 points. Dominion Squad, 6-inch movement, weapon skill 4 up, ballistic skill 3 up, strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound, 1 attack, leadership 7, 3 up save. They each have a bolt pistol, bolt gun, frag grenades, crack grenades. They have Axe of Faith, Sacred Rites, Shield of Faith. Vanguard is sort of your first battle round, but before the turn begins, this unit can move as if it were your movement phase. This movement must end that move more than 9 inches away from any enemy models. If both players have units that do so, the player who is taking the first turn moves their units first. And Simulacrum Imperialis. If a model in this unit has a Simulacrum Imperialis, then once per phase you can perform 1 Act of Faith for this unit, even if you've already performed 1 or more Acts of Faith in that phase. In Censor Cherub, the one can intercede, and you can choose the dice. Seraphim Squad is the jump pack squad. That's why they're in the fast attack slot. They have movement 12 inches. They have fly right. Strength, weapon skill 3 up, ballistic skill 3 up, strength 3, toughness 3. I wonder why they have weapon skill 3 up. Most of them, no, it's interesting. 1 wound, 1 attack, leadership 7, 3 up save. They're each 2 bolt pistols, frag grenades, crack grenades. They have the same things: Axe of Faith, Sacred Rites, Shield of Faith, Angelic Visage, which is their invulnerable save is improved by 1. So they have a 5-up invulnerable save. And you probably stack them to be a 4-up invulnerable save. Of course, they only have 1 wound, so they'll die to a lot of DACA, and they're only toughness 3. So they're not going to be too survivable. But Sky Strike, they can deep strike. Up next, we have the heavy supports. Now, the first of the heavy supports is my favorite of the heavy supports. It's the Exorcist. It's always been the crazy killing machine, and it's 90 points plus war gear, and it has an Exorcist missile launcher and a heavy bolter. How much is an Exorcist missile launcher? 70 points. So it's 160 points plus the heavy bolter. 160 plus heavy bolter is usually 10. So yeah, 170 points. 170 points. But it's nasty. It has 12 wounds, and a 12 wounds is 12-inch movement, 3 up ballistic skill, 3 attacks, but weapon skill 6 up, strength 7, toughness 8, 12 wounds, leadership 7, 3 up save. And now it has the Exorcist Conflagration rockets, which are now 48-inch range, heavy 3d6, strength 5, AP minus 2, D1, so that'll kill a lot of guys, right? Up to 18 shots. They'll kill a lot of infantry. Or the Exorcist Missile Launcher. As I said, you can take one of them. The Exorcist Missile Launcher, which is heavy 3d3, strength 8, AP minus 3, D3 damage. So up to 9 shots. You can't reuse your dice to the 3d3, but you can make sure they hit and wound. And D6 damage at AP minus 3. That's nasty. That is really nasty. These things would have to die pretty quickly in the game. Heavy Bolter, Hunter Killer Missiles. They have Axe of Faith, Sacred Rite, Shield of Faith. And save an invulnerable save. Up next we have the Mortifiers. Now the Mortifiers are the one of the other heavy support choices. There are 3 or 4. There's 3. They're 36 points base plus war gear. They're a 9-inch movement, weapon skill 3 up, ballistic skill 3 up. These guys are vehicles. Strength 5, toughness 5, 5 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 8, 4 up save. And they have 2 heavy bolters and 2 penitent flails, which I've already described those. They have Anguish of the Unredeemed. When a model in this unit is destroyed, roll 1d6 before removing it. On a 4-up, it meets out in final vengeance, and each enemy unit within 1 inch suffers d3 mortal wounds. No reprieve. When a model in this unit would lose a wound, roll a d6. On a 6, that wound is not lost. Blaze of Agony. When you choose this unit to shoot, with your shooting phase, you can choose for heavy bolters that models in this unit are equipped with to have a type characters of Assault 3 until the end of that phase, or for heavy flamers that models in this unit are equipped with to have a type characters of Pistol D6 until the end of the phase. That's nasty as heck. Retributor Squad, which is a heavy support squad, right? It's just what, they can form the heavy. They're 10 points base. They can take some heavy weapons. They're based with, bolt pistol, bolt guns, frag grenades, crack grenades. They're standard girls. They can take heavy weapons. The Penitent Engines, which are nasty as heck too. They're really nasty in this edition. They're 28 points per model plus weapons. They have 2 heavy flamers, 2 penitent flails, but you can also give them what's called a penitent buzzblade, which is strength plus 3, AP minus 3, D2 in melee. And if the bearer is equipped with 2 of this weapon, then when the bearer fights, it makes an additional attack. So they start off with 7-inch movement, weapon skill 4 up, ballistic skill 5 up, strength 5, toughness 5, 5 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 8, 4 up save. They have zealots and berserk killing machines. So 5 up, feel no pain. Yeah, ouch. And then they have the Sororitas Rhino. The Sororitas Rhino, I believe, is the same point as a Rhino. Nope, 65 points. Immolator, 70 points. And a Battle Sanctum, which is a building. Fortification. It's 50 points. That's cool. Battle Sanctum. And that's it. As I said, I'm gonna stop here just because my throat is getting very, very dry. I'm trying not to cough. But that's the quick overview of the new rules. I really love the new faith. These sisters are going to be very survivable. 4 up invulnerable saves. You can stack up to 4 up invulns around the board basically by conga lining. The new rules for the Exorcists are amazing. The new rules for Faith are really, really good too. Just being able to, replace dice, and it becomes very strategic. I really like this codex. What do you think? Leave comments in the comment section down below of what you think about the codex, the new rules, the new models, everything new. And as I said, I really do love this codex. Stay tuned for more codex reviews. I want to keep doing these things. I would love to. As always, this video is brought to you by my Patreon campaign. Link in the description below if you want to help support my videos. It's because of them that I keep making these videos. As you can see, their names go by my head. Huge thank you to my Patreon subscribers. And yeah, so stay tuned for more videos. Till next time, this is Jay saying happy painting and happy 2020.